It's less than a month to the general elections here in Nigeria, and a lot has been going on, from political candidates intensifying their campaigns to a presidential candidate pulling out of the election. Midway into the week, two of Nigeria's allies, the United States and the United Kingdom, issued statements concerning the upcoming polls. According to the United States, Nigeria's election is just as important for the continent as it is for the country, and that the United States does not support any specific candidate or party in the election, but supports the democratic process itself and genuine, free, fair, transparent, and peaceful electoral process. Now, because of this, they, quote, will not hesitate to consider consequences, including visa restrictions for those found to be responsible for election-related violence or for undermining the democratic process. Under immigration law, certain violations may also lead to restrictions on family members. For the UK, they also support free, fair and peaceful elections in Nigeria and are committed to supporters of the country's democracy. They do not support any party or individual and believe that the Nigerian people should be able to choose their leaders in an environment free from hate speech and insecurity. The UK will be deploying an extensive observation mission for the election who will, quote, in particular, be looking out for any attempts to encourage or use violence to influence the elections, including on social media. Now, they've promised consequences for individuals that make such attempts, including their eligibility to travel to the UK, their ability to access UK-based funds, or lead prosecution under international law. Those are strong statements coming from two countries that claim to be friends and partners of Nigeria. But let's not forget that it was around this time 4 years ago that then U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry was in Nigeria to speak the mind of the American government concerning the elections, especially the presidential election. He had met with the two main candidates of the presidential election, said he had hope that Nigeria would conduct free and fair polls, but he warned the U.S. government would not hesitate to deny American visa to any politician involved in political violence before, during, and after the election. That message was also for any Nigerian who perpetrates violence during the election. I want to bring in Ambassador Akin Fayomi, a career diplomat, to talk to us about the messages in these statements. Ambassador Fayomi, thank you for joining us on Diplomatic Channel. Are these Western governments interfering on the nation's sovereignty when they release statements like these?
Yes, and in a way, it's meddling in the internal affairs of a constituted authority and of a nation. Sometimes you could say they are trying to show some concerns which might be in a country's own interest. But if you take it too far, this interference. But if you take it as an advice, then we can understand that you are looking out for this interest.
Some have said the United States has no right to tell Nigeria and her politicians what to do and what not to do because they have not been the perfect example of democracy to the world. Do you agree?
I will not agree totally with that statement. Yes, no country is the best in terms of democracy. There are flaws here and there, and that's the beauty of democracy. You see these flaws and you try to correct them. And that doesn't mean you can extend, like I said, suggestions and advices to other countries. You don't want to see, I mean, if you're falling into a ditch or a pit, for instance, and your neighbor is coming behind you, you don't want to say, look, go ahead and fall into that pit. I should warn you. That means if you make mistakes, like the U.S., they are not flawless. Then they have the right, yes, as a member of the international body of nations, of which Nigeria is one, to also advise Nigeria to look, even if this mistake, we don't want to do the same. So I don't see that statement is in bad taste. You know, you can always offer suggestions and advices to people from other countries, knowing that we are all in a body of nations. There is no country that is an island to itself, so we can listen to suggestions, whichever cultures.
And you find that as we get closer to the elections, there is a general worry about aggrieved parties talking about their anger taking out their anger on innocent people. For a country like Nigeria, how can we improve our electoral process to provide the necessary example Africa really needs?
We are on the right track in a way. If you compare 2019 to 2015 elections, for instance, you will see that in between INEC, they've done many by-elections, thereby honing their skills in terms of the electoral processes. That means that we can expect something better in these national elections coming up in a couple of weeks. At the same time, we still have rooms for improvement, and that is why you can see that many countries always invite foreign observer missions to come to the elections. This is to keep everybody on their toes, knowing that the international community is watching you. I think they're going to hold you to some standards, which means that if you pass those standards, then they will come out with their statements. That is a plus for you, and that is also an inspiration to other countries to say, look, if Ghana did it, just an example, why can't Nigeria do it?
Ambassador, do we really at this time in our democratic process or democratic journey need the validation of the international community over electoral processes?
I will not agree totally with that. It's a universal norm in recent years for countries to invite, don't forget that word, invite, electoral observer missions. The invitation of observer missions do not mean they are coming to validate your election. I use the DRC as an example, whereby the African Union, the EU and all that said that they should not announce the result of Mutashi Zekedi because of the objection of the opposition. But when the Constitutional Court of DRC sat and said, look, this is the winner, everybody jumped on board and said, okay, we work with you. Everybody reversed itself. AU wanted to send a delegation there, they now cancelled it and said, we work with you. The US said, we work with you as long as you are up to some international standards, which is the rule of law and human rights and all that, which is democracy in short.
But are the US and UK's concerns valid as we enter full election season, seeing the polls are just a couple of weeks away now?
I'm very sure that the concern it's not only the US and the UK that is doing, even internally in Nigeria, civil society organizations, human rights organizations, even individuals. You see the, in quotes, do or die affair in Nigeria, unfortunately. But we can see that this year is less money being spent. That means less thuggery. That means also translates to less violence, and then people are more educated and aware of their rights. So it's getting better. If it's for the good of Nigeria, I think we should all toe that line and ensure that we have less violence. I won't say violence free, that might be possible, but at least less violence in our election processes.
Thanks again, Ambassador Fayomi.